We're now joined by South Florida. We have head coach Ken Eriksen, Ann Long, Alexa Galligani, and Kathy Garcia Soto. We'll start with an opening statement from coach, then we'll take questions for the student athletes, and end with questions for coach. So whenever you're ready, you can get going.
Thank you. Well, if you like fast pitch softball, that was a pretty good game. And both pitchers did a fabulous job of getting out of situations with traffic all game long. Reimer did a heck of a job in getting us to get ourselves out in crucial situations. And that's not just us getting ourselves out, but that's Reimer doing her job. And then their defense was really, really spectacular. Play they made on Elliott in center field. And then a couple of plays the third baseman made. She's an athlete and a half. And then I turned to our team, and I'm like, those were the two sickest double plays I've ever seen in my entire life. And I mean, to tell you that, I've never seen things like that. And it is as old as I get and as long as I stay in this game, and I've said this before, when you think you've seen it all, you just wait. And those two in the middle of the field, and then Nelson turning that double play with those two guys was pretty spectacular and gave our team a lot of momentum and gave Ann a lot of confidence, and give up a solo shot doesn't mean much at all. And then having clutch hitting and having our seniors step up, the first three in the lineup did a heck of a job of pushing, and the pressure was relentless. And finally, the dam broke for us, and we were very, very fortunate.
Questions for the student athletes? Ethan, go ahead.
Yeah, and Coach just called them the sickest double plays. What's it like as a pitcher when you just turn around and you see your defense make plays like that to have your back?
I think it's just awesome. Those are just plays that nobody expects people to make. Alex diving for that and flipping it to Kathy, I couldn't even expect that out of them. It's just awesome. And Jamia's play was super important. I think it was a crucial situation to get that double play there. It was just really great.
For both of you, did you feel like maybe going into that seventh inning, what were the conversations, first of all, just knowing that y'all, been kind of pushing it, but just hadn't broken through yet? What was the confidence level going into another time facing her?
I think just kind of staying with what we've been doing and making the adjustments that Coach said. He always says this to us all the time, that the pitcher does throw two pitches, a ball and a strike. So we got to just make sure that we make the adjustment and focus on hitting strikes and find a way. And eventually, because we were hitting the ball throughout the game, so eventually, those balls were going to find gaps and we're going to finally string them together. So just trusting that fact and just trusting that we can do it with each other.
Yeah, honestly, not changing anything. We were hitting the ball well. We were seeing the ball well. We were getting barrel to ball. Not everything needs to be a massive adjustment. Just knowing, and I said to Torin, before she got up for her last at-bat that started that inning, get your pitch that you know how to hit and swing for power. Don't swing to do damage is what I said to her. And, she did that, and then we all followed along with her.
And just what's it like to be, in a low-scoring battle, but knowing that you have Ann, every time maybe y'all didn't score, but you have her going right back out there in the circle?
Yeah, I have 100% confidence in Ann that every time she goes out there, she's going to put a 0 on the board, and she did that for us the entire game. So knowing that you have a pitcher like that who's going to compete for you every single pitch and always keep you in a game, it makes it a lot easier for us on offense.
Yeah, just going back to what Lex was saying, Ann having her on the mound, it's truly spectacular. She keeps us in the game, and we know that, again, our hits are going to come. So even though Ann might have given up that one-run home run, it doesn't matter. We're so what? We have the bats, we have the capability to score runs.
Where do you attribute this really good defense from? How have y'all assembled a team that just can make plays like that? Who's to credit for this?
They are.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you why. Because if you come to our practice, if I say this, it's tongue-in-cheek, those double plays were sick, right? But we see it every day in practice. They go out and they are creative within this system. And our coaching staff allows them to do those things, and they're having fun doing it and trying to find different ways. So the glove work that you saw, here's the one thing you didn't see, and people are not going to see it, is Kathy's footwork at first base on that double play turn was goofy-footed because of where she was. That was so big to get that double play, because if she's not comfortable in going goofy side with her feet, we don't make that play. But they go out and they are creative within the system. It's really, really cool.
Questions on the Zoom for the student athletes? Little louder, maybe.
It's David with the Oracle. First of all, Ann, you gave up the early run in second, but you settled in and shut it down. So, what was the adjustment you made after that?
I think flushing it firstly, then making the adjustment going forward. It wasn't my best pitch, probably more fat than it should have been. Coach walked out to the mound and said, throw it low. So that's what I worked on the rest of the game, and I think that adjustment helped me a lot.
Anything else for the athletes? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Alexa, both RBIs of you came in crucial moments. So, just wanted to ask you, are you someone who thrives in when the pressure is the highest?
As corny as this might sound, I think I'm just like that little girl that's playing and has a dream, and my goal is to just keep that dream alive for as long as it possibly can. I know it's my last year, but I don't go into every situation with all that pressure on my shoulder. I know if I don't get it done, the woman behind me is getting it done, but to go in there with that free mindset, I think gives me the ability to come out successful.
All right, thank you guys so much. That's it by me.
Anything else for the student athletes on Zoom?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now take questions for Coach. Ethan, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, just to come out in this type of game where there's two pitchers battling back and forth, and to be the one to throw that final punch, just what do you think it says about your team and its ability to come up big and when it matters the most?
We've been doing it for years, and I think being in this part of the country is the first time you've seen us, and you're a heck of a writer, and you did a great job. I read some of your stuff. You're very creative. But we don't really get out of our region too much, because of our conference, of where it's at and so forth. But, you take a look at our record in regional play, our record against, football, Power 4 schools and this and that, or Power 5, whatever it is. And, we start on August 25th every year playing to win against the best teams in the country, and for us to come out here and to face a Washington, and then tomorrow get to face, the hometown team, and then who knows after that, and hopefully next week. But, the aspect of putting it in your mind of seeing yourself doing those things, you know what I mean? Celebrating the little thing. I don't know if you saw, probably the biggest celebration in our dugout was when Dania got the sacrifice bunt down, right? So if you're celebrating those type of things, then you're buying into the process of winning. Get them on, get them over, get them in. And, how many home runs did we hit today? None. Okay, how many singles that we put together and ran the bases hard? That was our game, and against some great pitching like that, that's what you have to do. So it starts on day one.
Yeah, after Ann gives up the long ball and then Alexa turns around next half inning, just what do you think that run did for y'all to just answer right back right then?
Yeah, I think I talked about it the other day about us being down to 4 outs to go, 0-2 in the sixth inning, down 6 runs and score 7, right? These guys buy into the fact that team has 21 outs, and so do we, and it didn't matter, and we've talked and preached about it all the time. If we could avoid giving up a home run like that without traffic on the base paths, you weathered the storm, and so if we're within 3, we've got a shot all the time. And, once again, that goes back to the teaching part, right, of understand you're in everything with the way you guys can play.
And I think maybe 2 walks, but not a lot of free passes. How important is that in this, especially postseason, just to, they gave up the home run, but it was just a solo shot.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you take a look in the E column, 0. Great. You know what I mean? And sometimes there's good walks, and sometimes there's bad walks, and sometimes there's umpires' walks. So, you have to make sure that not one little misstep, builds into a snowball situation. And those guys, every time somebody gets on base with Ann on the mound, the battle cry in the dugout is double play, and there it is. And that makes you feel better, It's kind of like having tremendous faith in what you do, and our team does.
Top of the lineup was, just look up and down how good it was today. Just, what do you think they were doing so well to pass along that information and string things together?
I know you're going to hate this answer, okay? We don't get that complicated. We really don't. Our hitters don't, on the way back to the dugout, go, hey, this is what she's throwing. I mean, if you can't see and time the velocity and see the velocity spin or this and that, then you're not observing the game. And if you observe the game, you can take what you do, because each one of those kids is different in their approach. They're different where their barrel's successful. They're different in their timing. They're different with their eyes. So they have to be allowed to be creative for themselves and do what you do best, and don't rely on somebody else to tell you what to do.
Then just sets up a game against Arkansas. Just what do you think about them and the challenge that they'll pose?
It's a great challenge, and you earned it. And it's going to be probably the most hostile crowd that we have faced since we opened up against Oklahoma in the first game of the College World Series in Oklahoma City. Okay, when there's 20,000 people in the stands and they're all wearing that different color than yours. And our kids went out and had a blast, and scored the first couple of runs and this and that. And so tomorrow be great, play upon the energy. That's a great crowd, I mean, they're rooting for their team like nobody's business. I mean, that is so cool to see, and then we just have to play upon the energy of what we do and stay within the USF cocoon, which we've done, forever, and enjoy the moment and hopefully end up on the good side.
How does it differ from the postseason, I guess, environment of Gainesville, Tallahassee, where y'all have been so often in the postseason?
The environment is really classy here. I'm just going to let you know that what they've done so far here is something to be learned upon by a lot of programs. University of Florida does a great job also with postseason and making sure the communication is done. But there's a lot of other regional places that could learn from here at Arkansas and up at Gainesville. They really could, and they make the kids and the coaches and administrations feel special. And they give everything that the programs need to succeed in batting practice and pregame and communication. So, I mean, this is awesome. And this is the way it should be, and it's come a long, long way since my first regional, which was at a city park, I think, in Columbia, South Carolina, right? But this has been spectacular so far.
Questions on Zoom for Coach.
Yeah, Ken, you said from the start.
How do you not recognize that voice? That's like Hall of Fame Joe Henderson voice from Tampa Tribune years and years ago.
Years and years ago. But you said from the start this team could be special. What did you see back in February that told you this could happen?
Work ethic, relentlessness. They were really, really disappointed last year after we got beat in the regionals against Auburn. And they were disappointed, not so much like they knew that they had a pitching staff that was decimated last year, with injuries. And it was disappointing that we couldn't get the last out and the last out and the last out. But they were relentless still. And they put it upon themselves to go back-to-back in the conference this year. They wanted to win the regular season and the conference championship. And for me, it was just being in the co-pilot seat the whole year of watching them do what they had to do. I mean, you set up the structure, you set up the practices, you give them the nuances of the game of this could happen and that could happen. But they bought into it the whole time. And then, Joe, one of the biggest things to the short answer to your question was when we went to Puerto Rico this summer, I saw that team bond together with the new kids on the team and then getting involved in doing clinics and stuff in the cultural aspect for a lot of the communities in Puerto Rico. And I saw them come together on the outside of the field like I've never seen a team come out of it before. So whether it was being in a different environment on an island, out in the Caribbean that was predominantly a different language where they had to go and try to learn the language but also embrace the culture, I saw them bond really well. So, liking each other in the dugout, liking each other in the locker room, I think really boded well for what we saw in the fall, and that's why I said what I said in January.
Well, you've had some pretty good pitchers during your tenure.
Yeah, not bad.
How does Ann rank?
Right now, pretty good. I mean, she's doing what she needs to do, and but as I said before, we had some really good pitchers that were blowing 320, 340 strikeouts a year. By hitters. Leanne Ellis, and then you had Sarah Nevins and Lindsey Richardson, and obviously Georgina Korick. But right now, we're like 400 put out assist chances. So it's a different style pitching, and it's a great opportunity because Ann is not trying to be anybody else but Ann. And she's not going to throw you at 67, 68 and strike out 10, 12. She knows her game. She stays with her game. So to me right now, is a sophomore, she is she's right up there with the rest of them.
I'm good.
Anything else on Zoom for Coach? All right. Well, thank you, Coach.
Thanks a lot.